We begin our program with the simple question of why. Why is it that we need a hazard information and communication system at all? Well, chemicals are used to benefit our lives in many ways. Some of them are dangerous, and if we're going to use them, we need to know how to use them safely. Safe use is important for people in manufacturing industries, in transportation, for emergency responders such as firefighters and police, and for consumers who buy cleaners, glues, and paint thinners for use around the house. To work safely with a chemical product, we need to ask ourselves three important questions. What's in it? In other words, what are its ingredients? What are the hazards of those ingredients? What can we do to prevent the hazards from happening? After the next few minutes, we will be able to describe why managers and workers could not always get chemical hazard information. We will be able to explain why this was a problem for employers and industries using chemicals. We will be able to list the three main parts of the solution adopted in many countries. We will be able to list three reasons why we needed a globally harmonized system. We will be able to name the three main hazard groups in the GHS. Before hazard communication systems existed, workers and managers often had trouble finding information on chemical products and their hazards. Sometimes it was because the chemical was newly synthesized and little or no information existed, and sometimes the manufacturer did not wish to disclose the details because it was a trade secret. This meant that there was a gap in the information people needed to work safely. Employers have a legal obligation to ensure their staff work safely, but without the information on chemical hazards, they could not meet these legal requirements. Governments in industrialized countries, often with the help of labor and industry, introduced systems to ensure safety information was available for people packaging and using hazardous chemicals. In most countries, the hazard information system consisted of three parts: labels on the drums and packages of hazardous materials, safety datasheet summaries about the hazards and how to prevent them from happening, and finally, training for people working with hazardous chemicals. The problem? Each and every country developed its own unique supplier label system, and if this wasn't complicated enough, each country had different hazard warning systems for household consumer chemicals. Frequently, the hazard communication systems used for workplace and consumer products differed from that used worldwide for transportation of dangerous goods. The result was a maze of different signs, symbols, and requirements, not just from country to country, but within each country as well. Add to that, there were many countries in the world that didn't have any chemical hazard communication system at all. All these different information systems were a huge and expensive barrier to trade, and worse than that, the differences from country to country probably compromised safety. We just couldn't be sure that what was considered flammable or toxic in France was also considered to be so in China or New Zealand, because different countries used different standards to determine what was hazardous. It wasn't until 1992 that progress was made. In that year, the United Nations held a conference on environment and development in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.